General Hospital spoilers reveal that Michael's return marks one of the biggest shifts in the world of General Hospital, as he officially confirms his revenge plans. Gone are the vague considerations and temporary outbursts of anger. This time, Michael is ready to take action, and there will be no tolerance for Willow or Drew. To him, their betrayal is not only personal pain but a humiliation, and he will not stop until they both pay the price. Willow and Drew were once people Michael trusted, but now, they have become his greatest enemies. Willow not only betrayed him but also intended to build a new life with Drew, taking Wiley and Amelia as though Michael had never mattered. This is unacceptable to Michael. He has lost the family he once thought was sacred, and instead, he must face betrayal from those closest to him. But Michael is not the type to sit idly by and suffer. He is a true Quartermain, raised in a family where power, calculation, and control are keys to everything. Now, he is using everything he has to plot Drew's downfall and make Willow lose it all. He doesn't just want to regain custody of his children, he wants to ensure that Drew will never have a chance to restore his reputation or career. When Michael returns, he will begin by weakening Drew from the inside. He knows well that Drew has political ambitions, and that will be his greatest weakness. If Michael can destroy Drew's reputation, make him lose credibility, and turn the public against him, not only will Drew's career but his future as well will be ruined. Michael will not hesitate to use his connections to spread negative rumors, expose any past mistakes of Drew's, and make him a name to be despised in political and business circles. But Michael's goal doesn't stop with Drew, he also wants to make sure Willow can never regain custody of the children. Willow may think she has the upper hand in the custody battle, but Michael has already prepared everything to make her look irresponsible and unfit to be a mother. He will exploit any weakness she has to prove in court that Wiley and Amelia will be better off with him. For Michael, this is not just a custody fight. He has spent his life protecting his family, and now, he will do the same for his children, at any cost. Michael has carefully prepared for this battle. He understands the law, knows how to leverage his relationships, and will not stop until the court grants him full custody of Wiley and Amelia. He will not only try to make Willow look like an unfit mother, but he also wants to prove that the environment she has created is not good enough to raise them. He will use every piece of evidence he can, dig up Willow's past, and even exploit her relationship with Drew to convince the court that his children should not grow up in such an unstable household. Willow may think she has enough reason to fight, but she will soon realize that Michael has planned more thoroughly than she expected. However, Michael's focus isn't just on regaining custody. Upon returning to Port Charles, he also realizes that if he wants to protect his family, he cannot continue to stay out of the power game in this city. Sonny was once an unshakable force in the underground world, but now, his power is weakening, making the city more dangerous than ever. Michael once tried to distance himself from this world, believing he could build a normal life, but reality has proven otherwise. He cannot hide forever, and he cannot continue to let others control his fate. If he wants to protect what's his, Michael must become part of the game, not just an observer but the one in control. Stepping into the power world of Port Charles means Michael must face even more dangerous forces than Drew and Willow. If he truly wants to gain his position, he will have to compete with those who have been around longer than he has, people willing to do anything to protect their own interests. He will not only have to outwit enemies in the shadows but also confront his closest family members, including Sonny and Carly. Carly, the mother who always wants to protect him, might try to stop him from going too far, but Michael knows he cannot back down. If Sonny is no longer strong enough to control Port Charles, then he must be the one to do it. This change is not an easy decision for Michael, but he knows there is no other way. If he lets Drew and Willow control the fate of his children, if he lets others decide the future of Port Charles, then he will lose everything. And that cannot happen. But the path Michael has chosen does not come without its challenges. The deeper he dives into the world of power, the more he becomes like the father he once hated. He has spent years trying to avoid Sonny's ruthlessness, but now, he is using those very tactics to achieve his goals. This raises the question, is Michael becoming a version of Sonny, or even a more dangerous one? Those around Michael are starting to realize that he is no longer the man they once knew. Carly worries as she sees her son growing colder, ready to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. Sonny, though no longer holding the power he once did, cannot ignore what is happening. If Michael truly wants to dominate Port Charles, he will have to face unforeseen consequences. And will he be ready to face the truth that, on this path, he might lose the people he loves most? Michael's return is not just a fight for custody or a struggle for power, it is a journey of transformation, where he must decide who he will become. He may win everything he desires, but at what cost? As the conflicts escalate, as secrets are exposed, and enemies appear in increasing numbers, Michael will have to confront the most important question: is he controlling the situation, or is his rage and hatred controlling him? Port Charles has never been ready for a Michael like this, and as he begins to carry out his plan, no one can predict what will happen next. Sidwell is becoming the prime target in Michael's revenge plan, and no one can stop him. What Sidwell did to Michael is not just a power struggle or a business game, it's a betrayal, a destruction that Michael cannot forgive. Looking back at all the losses he has endured, Michael sees no other path but revenge. But this time, he doesn't just want to defeat Sidwell, he wants to utterly destroy him, just as Sidwell did to him. Michael's anger is no longer a fleeting emotion, but is slowly turning into an obsession. It constantly burns, driving him to act, to reclaim what he has lost. Sidwell took away his position, his reputation, and most importantly, what mattered most to him, and now Michael will make sure Sidwell suffers the same loss, even worse. For Michael, this is not just a battle, but a punishment. Once Sidwell dared to challenge him, he must be ready to pay the price. Michael no longer cares about who might get caught in the crossfire. He doesn't need anyone's approval or support from any allies. This is his personal battle, one that he is ready to dive into, with no turning back. But the deeper he goes into his plan, the more strange he becomes. Those closest to him begin to notice a frightening change in him. Carly worries that her son is going too far, Jason realizes that Michael is losing control, and even Sonny, though he has stepped back from the world of power, can no longer ignore what Michael is plotting. But Michael doesn't care about their objections. He's gone too far to turn back now. Michael's plan is built with meticulous calculation, leaving no room for mistakes. He doesn't just want to defeat Sidwell financially, he wants to destroy his reputation, make him lose everything he's worked for. Michael will not just attack on the business front, but will use any means possible to make Sidwell lose his standing in society. He will make him lose the trust of his allies, be cast out of power circles, and ultimately, become completely isolated. But Michael doesn't stop there. He wants Sidwell to experience the collapse from the inside out, to feel the despair, helplessness, and rage that Michael has endured. If Sidwell ever thought he could easily get away from Michael, he made a grave mistake. Michael won't stop until Sidwell loses everything, and when he realizes this, it may already be too late. However, the scariest thing is not Michael's plan, but the person he is becoming. Hatred is consuming him, turning him into a version of himself no one recognizes. Michael is no longer the ethical businessman, the son Carly once was proud of, or the man Willow once loved. He is slowly becoming someone obsessed with destruction, a person relentlessly charging forward with no regard for the consequences. Those around him begin to question, if Michael truly destroys Sidwell, will it satisfy him? Or will he continue to seek out new enemies to annihilate? When a person is consumed by anger and a thirst for revenge, can they stop, or will they be forever trapped in that cycle? Port Charles has never seen a Michael like this, someone who is no longer afraid, no longer hesitant, and has nothing left to lose. And if Sidwell doesn't quickly realize the level of danger he's facing, his downfall may come much sooner than he expects. But when that day comes, will Michael realize that he has lost a part of his soul in this battle? Will this be the beginning of a new reign in Port Charles, or the stepping stone to Michael's own downfall? When hatred becomes ingrained in the mind, it doesn't just destroy the enemy, it can consume the one holding the torch of revenge. And the biggest question now is, does Michael have a way back, or has he gone too far to ever find himself again? Jason realizes that he can no longer stay on the sidelines as the situation in Port Charles grows increasingly tense. He has no choice but to act, because if he stays silent, everything will quickly fall into chaos. But this time, the threat isn't just from outside forces. It's from the people closest to him, Michael. Michael was once a son and brother Jason held dear and was always ready to protect. But now, he is no longer the boy he once was. Willow and Drew's betrayal has pushed Michael into a pit that even Jason couldn't have anticipated. He doesn't just want to regain custody of Wiley and Amelia, he wants to destroy anyone who dares to oppose him. What worries Jason is not that Michael is angry, but that he is changing in a darker way than ever before. Hatred is consuming Michael, turning him into someone unrecognizable. He is no longer just a businessman trying to get his family back. Now, Michael is willing to use any means necessary to make sure Willow loses everything, Drew is completely destroyed, and anyone who dares to stand in his way will pay the price. He doesn't just want to win back custody, he wants Willow to feel the most devastating loss, to experience the feeling of having everything important taken away. Jason knows that if no one controls Michael, Port Charles will soon face a real disaster. Michael turning his back on his family, on those who once loved him, is a warning sign. But what's even more terrifying is that he no longer knows his own limits. Michael no longer cares about the consequences, doesn't care who will be hurt in his path. He only knows that this time, he won't let anyone take anything that belongs to him. Jason has seen many people in the underworld blinded by hatred, but he never thought Michael, the man once seen as the symbol of fairness and responsibility, would go down this path. As Sonny gradually pulls away, Michael feels the need to step up and seize power to protect his family. But he doesn't realize that, instead of protecting them, he's pushing himself down the most dangerous road of all. Things become even more dangerous as Michael not only wants to regain custody but also wants to solidify his position in the underworld of Port Charles. He realizes that in order to truly hold power, he must do things Sonny never did, even surpassing the limits that even Jason wouldn't dare try. He no longer wants to be a legitimate businessman, he wants to be the one who controls everything. But what happens if Michael goes too far? What if he loses himself on this path of revenge? Jason knows that if he doesn't intervene now, there will be no turning back for Michael. But how do you stop someone obsessed with hatred and power? How do you pull Michael out of the darkness he's created? This battle is no longer just between Michael, Willow, and Drew. This is a fight for honor, power, and survival. Michael is slowly becoming someone completely different, someone Jason no longer recognizes. And if Jason doesn't act now, Port Charles will soon face the most terrifying enemy of all, a Michael with nothing left to lose, no one to trust, and no limits to stop him. Chaos is erupting, and this time, Jason may have to face the hardest challenge of his life, saving Michael before he destroys himself.